Good? You guys all good?
7:30, Will.
All right. Now call to order the Town Council meeting of January 18, 2028. Will the clerk call the roll, please?
Councilor Gringo?
Here.
Councilor Steer?
Here.
Councilor Burlingame?
Here.
Councilor Arnold?
Here.
Councilor Wood?
Here, everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Open forum for agenda items. Anybody wishing to speak on an agenda item, please step up to the microphone, state your name and called on. Nobody signed up? All right. All right, council presentation, 250th Commission. Tonight we have Mr. Rob Rock, Deputy Secretary of State, Director of Administration, and Lauren Fogarty, Program Coordinator for the Rhode Island 250th Commission, here to speak to us about the Commission's plans.
Thank you.
Welcome.
You're stuck with just me tonight, so
All
Lauren's
right.
at another town council. So thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. My name is Rob Rock. I'm the Deputy Secretary of State for Secretary of State Greg Amore, and I'm here on behalf of Secretary Amore and the Rhode Island 250th Commission to talk a little bit about local 250th committees, and I appreciate just about 5 minutes of your time. In 2026, we're getting ready to embark on the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence and the founding of this great country. Some may remember the bicentennial anniversary in 1976, where there was a ton of events and cool things that happened 50 years ago, and we want to make 2026 something similar. In 2021, the General Assembly created the Rhode Island 250th Commission, and they were charged with anything related to the American Revolution, spurring economic development and civic engagement, and really making 2026 something special. One of the tasks of the commission is to work with local organizations to make 2026 special, and the idea was, why don't we visit all 39 cities and towns and see if they'd be willing to participate in some way in this important anniversary. And what that participation looks like has varied across the state. This is our, I think, 34th town council that we've been to, and all 33 before have in some way agreed to participate. As an example, in my home city of East Providence and in the town of Bristol, they're creating local 250th committees from scratch. They're seeking residents from their town to be part of these committees, and really the committees are designed to create and organize events over the next couple of years to honor the anniversary. Rhode Island certainly has led the way in the American Revolution, one of the first 13 colonies. Everyone talks about the Boston Tea Party as starting the American Revolution. It was really the Gatsby in Patuxent Village that started the American Revolution. So the rich history that Rhode Island has, that Gloucester has with the Door Rebellion, it's really important that we get involved. So a couple of towns are taking committees that already exist, and they're adding the 250th duties to it. For example, the town of South Kingstown just celebrated their 300th birthday, and so they had a committee that organized a bunch of events, and they're going to add this to that committee. And then also a lot of towns, what they're doing is they're asking their historical societies to take the lead here. Charleston, for example, believes that the Historical Society would be the best to lead this project. So I come before you to see if you'd be willing to adopt or to create a 250th committee, and I also come before you to let you know that the state, the Secretary of State's office, the 250th Commission stands ready to help in any way that we can. Secretary Amore was a history teacher for 30 years and loves this stuff. The 250th Commission, we have Lauren Fogarty that you mentioned tonight. She's the full-time person that deals with all things 250th, and we can help in any way that we can, help start your group and supplement any events that you have over the next couple of years. One of the cool things about our office is that we also oversee the state archives. And so we've got some really cool documents. We've got the Declaration of Independence, only signed by John Hancock. It was an original before the rest of the signers signed it. We've got the Act of Renunciation. We've got the Royal Charter. A lot of cool documents. But we also have really cool documents and artifacts for each of the 39 cities and towns. So if you do have a committee and you do have events in the next couple of years, we're happy to bring what we call pop-up exhibits with cool documents from the town of Gloucester. I have a couple of replicas with me tonight that I'll leave with the town clerk. A bunch of other information as well. I've got the act that established the town of Gloucester from 1730. It also established the towns of Situate and Smithfield at the same time. I've got the list of men that were eligible to bear arms in Gloucester in 1777, and a quick look at the names. Many of your relatives, I guess, would be on here. I see Steer, Burlingame, Arnold are all on this list, perhaps your relatives. We've got the votes of freemen from Gloucester from 1788, and then finally a picture from the Door Rebellion Memorial from 1928. So I'm going to leave these documents with Jean, but also know that we've got other documents as well that we can bring out to Gloucester and help facilitate any events that you have over the next couple of years. So I appreciate your time, certainly happy to answer any questions, but just know that you can call me, Lauren, the secretary, with anything related to the 250th, and we're happy to help out any way we can.
I think it sounds great. I think, we should definitely get involved. Would that have to be on an agenda item for next meeting?
I would suggest that you put it on the agenda item to consider either, one, having one of your existing committees take on this responsibility, or, as Mr. Rock indicated, create a freestanding committee, whatever's more convenient. And I don't know, do you have a heritage committee?
Historical.
We have the historical society.
So if I would-
Which is not,
Right. So I don't know if that's not a committee.
it's not a town.
So I think you probably would be best off creating a 250 committee to determine how and when they'll participate, and maybe connect with the Secretary of State, see what other cities and towns are doing, and try to.
Sure.
Yeah, that was gonna be, do you have examples of what other towns sort of
We do.
similar in size, that what they're doing, how
Yes.
many members on said committee or whatnot, just kind of an example or some suggestions.
Yes, we have a handful of resolutions from the rest of the state that I can forward to the clerk tomorrow. That way you've got it and can use that as a template.
Now, will some of the towns be doing something in their own town, or would they be bringing something from their town to the city?
So the town, they're taking different approaches. I think each town has its own rich history, so they're trying to create events in the town, but also supplement what we're trying to do at the state level. For example, at the state level, we're trying to bring in the tall ships again in 2026, which is no small feat, but it's a pretty cool endeavor. So the state is working on that, but I know that there are some towns that are working out. What we wanted to also do is give every town a tree that they can plant in the town green with a plaque honoring the 250th anniversary. So it's things like that we're working with the towns on, but there are towns that are gonna take some events and kind of run with them, and we're happy to support them in any way we can.
Okay. All right, so we'll put that on the agenda for next time. Come up with a 250.
Because in the 1976 one, we did that red, white, and blue, the yellow lines are red, white, and blue when I was a kid.
Yep, on the road.
On 102 out there.
Yeah, that's great, that's great. And if I may, Mr. President, I know I've been fortunate enough to work in state government for the last 17 years, mostly in the elections capacity, but I just want to let you know that the team that you have in Gloucester is top-notch. I've worked with Jean for all of my time in state government, is absolutely tremendous, and I know Chris and Sue and Dorothy, and then before that, Liz Randall, a tremendous team that you have in Gloucester, and I know oftentimes government employees often go unnoticed and unacknowledged, but I want to let you know that it's a pleasure working with the town and the team here in Gloucester.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
All right, consent items, discussion and action, approval of town council minutes, regular meeting of January 4th and January 10th, 2024. B, tax assessors additions and abatement, December 2023. Finance director's report, December 2023.
Make a motion to approve the town council minutes of January 4th and January 10th, to approve the addition to the 2023 tax roll in the amount of $2,070, no abatement to the 2023 tax roll, and to accept the interim finance director's report for December 2023.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Unfinished business, boards and commissions, appointment, discussion, interaction, Economic Development Commission, position number 7, unexpired term to expire 12/31/2024. The chair does not have a recommendation at this time. Can I get a motion?
Motion to table the appointment to position number 7, Economic Development, to the Town Council meeting of February 1, 2024.
All right, quick discussion. Have you spoke to them over there to see if they have anybody yet?
They didn't, last time I spoke to her was about a month and a half ago.
They've been a little quiet, okay. All right, we got a second, all in
I'll
favor?
second.
I'll second, all in favor?
Aye.
Personnel tax assessor, appointment, discussion, or action, 2-year term to expire 12/31/2025. Position number 7, unexpired term to expire 12/31/2024. This is off year, so.
I'll make a motion to reappoint Jessica Parker to the position of tax assessor for a 2-year term to expire 12/31/2025.
I get a second? All in favor?
Aye.
New business, Code of Ordinance, proposed amendments. Approval for first reading, discussion and vote to authorize town planner and solicitor to submit proposed amendments for first readings as soon as prepared to work towards a compliance with the RIGL effective 1/1/24. Council received a request from the town planner and the solicitor requesting approval to hold first readings as needed to expedite changes necessary due to the 2023 general laws regarding land use and housing. 2 town council members from Karen Scott, town planner, January 11, 2024. Proposed amendments to the Glocester Code of Ordinances relating to the housing and land use. The town of Glocester, along with all Rhode Island municipalities, is required to amend their local land use regulations in response to enabling legislation that has recently been passed by the General Assembly, which provided a very short time frame for implementation. Links to the specific bill language and summary of bills is available here, https://mtap/templates/templates/. We anticipate several categories of the amendments. Section 1 of state law, which must be included in the local regulatory framework as written in the enabling legislation. Some of the legislation updates include definitions, processes, procedures, and provisions that do not allow for interpretation and must be adopted into local regulations as they exist in state law. Number 2, amendments at the local level, which allows for some customization. Some of the legislation amendments direct municipalities to amend their local regulations and ordinances, but do not specify exactly how those changes are to be made. For these provisions, Weston and Sampson, the consultant we hired using the Municipal Technical Assistance Grant, provide these best practices. Examples from other communities and recommended language that the town can consider and work with staff and the planning board to tailor these sections to the town's needs. Number 3, amendments at the local level to enable affordable housing, construction, and compliance with the town's comprehensive plan. Focusing on the village district, consultants will work with the staff and the planning board to modernize and update the village overlay district as a whole and look for opportunities to better integrate opportunities for scattered site of affordable housing. We'll also review other zoning districts to look for similar opportunities to better enable to construction or scattered sites of affordable housing. We've previously agreed to prioritizing these amendments into phases. Phase 1, these changes will prevent any intermediate negative local impact that would take effect on January 1st, 2024. Phase 2, these bills will require significant immediate local attention because there is tailoring necessary at the local level. The consultant will take the lead on these changes. We anticipate beginning to present these amendments very early in 2024. Phase 3, those bills where there is little opportunity to tailor language at the local level and their state enabling legislation language needs to be directly inserted into the local regulatory framework. Phase 4, these amendments, which are not specific to the new legislation, are not on as tight as a time frame, but will assist the town in reaching its affordable housing goals as outlined in the comprehensive plan. Even within each phase, all necessary ordinance amendments will not be completed at the same time, and these changes are time sensitive. Therefore, we would like to adopt each set of ordinance amendments as soon as they're ready. These amendments must also work in concert with companion amendments to the subdivision regulations, which the planning board will oversee. In order to ensure that the process continues to move forward, I'm requesting authorization to submit ordinance amendments required for compliance with the state law that became effective 1/1/24. As they are prepared, as these changes are time sensitive. These amendments will be reviewed by staff, the town solicitor, and the planning board prior to placement on an agenda for first reading. The code amendments I will present tonight for the first reading represent additional Phase 1 changes. Thank you for your consideration and the memo. Can I get a motion?
Motion to authorize first readings to be added to the future agendas on proposed Code of Ordinance amendments relating to the 2023 Rhode Island legislation regarding housing and land use as prepared and reviewed by the town planner, planning board, and the town solicitor as completed.
Is second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Court of Ordinance, first reading of proposal amendment, discussion, interaction. Chapter 350, Article 3, Section 66-B, substandard lots of record. For the first reading, the proposed amendment can be read in full, or a description can be provided by the planner and solicitor. Karen or David? Anybody wants to see the first reading documents are on the table right over here? Hello.
Hello. Do you want me to go ahead, Dave? All right, I'll just go ahead. So, as we talked about and was described in the last memo, we tried to catch everything that was gonna have an immediate negative impact on January 1st, which was the trigger of the new legislation. And we made a lot of those changes and caught a lot of those. One that we did not catch was, there's a new state law that addresses substandard lots of record, and it requires you to shrink your setbacks and increase your lot coverages in proportion with the minimum lot size in the zone to the size the lot actually is. So if, I'll just give an easy example, if you're in an A4 zone and you have a 2-acre lot, your setbacks are reduced by half and your lot coverage can go up by half. So if it was supposed to be a 50-foot setback, it's gonna be a 25 now. But it works on a sliding scale. It's always based on that proportion between minimum lot size in the zone, actual size of the lot. What we have in our ordinance already is some more generous setbacks for substandard lots of records and increased lot sizes, recognizing that these smaller lots can't get 50-foot setbacks on them. So we already had something in our zoning ordinance that addressed smaller setbacks and larger lot coverages for substandard lots of record. But what this does now is added the proportion on top of the reductions we already provided. So what this first reading will do, we'll take out the ones that we have, the reductions that we had in our ordinance already, and it will be replaced with what the state adopted. So it's not, it's just taking what we had for reduced setbacks and increased lot coverages and substituting it with what the state is requiring us to have, rather than having the reductions and then having a reduction on the reduction, if that makes sense.
It does. So you're saying if we left ours in there, it would have been even further reduction.
Right,
Yeah.
because you would go on the lower setbacks, but the intent of this is it to go proportionally based on everyone's setback. So I don't think that when the state passed this, they took into consideration that many municipalities already did things to help substandard lots of record, which is what we had. So this is just kind of a substitution of just having the straight lower setbacks that we had, and it changes to the proportion that we're required to have. If that makes sense.
It does, yeah. Okay.
Everybody satisfied?
So that would be the first reading, and this would get a schedule for a public hearing. And you can put the second reading on the same day. Whether that ends up being passed on the same day, is a different question, but you can put it, schedule a public hearing, and I think a date has been selected. Is that right? I saw my notes. I saw the notes that, is that?
Yeah,
am I right on
yes, there is, yeah. All right. I don't know how you just made sense of that all for us, but
I've been doing a
Thank
lot of
you.
math lately,
Yeah.
you can tell.
thank you.
Thanks.
All right, can we get a motion?
Make a motion to declare the first reading of a proposed amendment to Chapter 350, Article 3, Section 66B complete, and set a public hearing for February 15th, 2024. Said public hearing to be advertised per the Code of Ordinance.
Can I get a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. 2, Chapter 350, Attachment 2, Table of Dimensional Regulations. Karen and David again?
Karen, you have this at your fingertips?
Same. So the first one was to take out the language that reduces the setbacks, and the table contains the reductions in lot coverages. So same concept, they were just located in 2 separate spots in the ordinance. So same explanation that I just gave.
Yep.
First one was for setbacks, this one's for lot coverage.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to declare the first reading of proposed amendment to Chapter 350, Attachment 2, Table of Dimensional Regulation complete, and to set a public hearing for February 15th, 2024. Set public hearing to be advertised per the Code of Ordinance.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. C, authorization for signatures, Rhode Island's pollutant discharge elimination system, RIPDES, Municipal Separated Storm Sewer Systems Annual Report 2023, discussion or action. In accordance with the Rhode Island Pollution Discharge Elimination System program, generally submit for stormwater discharge for small municipal separate storm sewer systems, MS4s, and from industrial activities at eligible facilities operated by regulated small MS4s. We are required to complete a Phase 2 stormwater annual report for submissions to RIDEM. This annual report is available on the town's website and in the planning department for public comment. Can I get a motion?
Motion to authorize the town council president to sign the Phase 2 Stormwater Annual Report 2022 for submission to RIDEM after the public comment period has ended.
I get a second.
Before you
Yep.
vote on that, I believe that's supposed to be 2023 report.
All right, I'm gonna pull back that motion.
I'll remove the motion, and I'll make a new motion to authorize the town council president to sign the Phase 2 Stormwater Annual Report 2023 for submission to RIDEM after the public comment period has ended.
Okay, a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Authorization to apply municipal public safety infrastructure grant, discussion or action. Karen or Chief, or both? Or all three of you?
Or.
So we're here to ask for authorization to apply. There is a municipal public safety infrastructure grant. This is a state grant, although they're using their own response money or ARPA money. And it's for the building or improvement of public safety infrastructure, such as police stations. The grants run from $1 million to $5 million. It's $1 million if it's just for the towns use, and it could go up to $5 million if we can show that it could be a regional use. We're gonna put in for the 5 because we're gonna have a large emergency operations center, which could actually handle assisting like Situate, Foster, Barville during a massive emergency.
Is this the same grant that almost every town is going for right now?
It's only for public safety infrastructure.
So that's what I mean. There are a lot of towns.
There's probably, what, 3?
Yeah. Yeah.
3 or 4.
Okay.
So,
It's not a investment, no, they're out, they get voted down, that's true.
so we're looking for, I don't know, one of us to be able, or a couple of us be able to sign this application. And we're putting it in through the state's grant website. And we have to have it in by next week.
So my question is, and maybe I misunderstood this, so does it matter if it's a new build or if it's an addition type of project?
I don't think it matters.
Okay.
I mean, they would want to know, but obviously we don't know yet. So,
So how,
my thought was we were gonna put it in as though, because we have plans for an addition.
Right.
We're gonna put it in like that.
Okay.
And if you decide otherwise, then we'll ask to amend the grant, if we get the grant. So, but it's just a short time frame to get it in. We just need to drop it in. And Karen's got some specifics on it as well. But
that,
there is a match, but we'll have plenty to match it. whatever it is. They haven't said what the match is yet. That's the thing.
we don't know, 1 for 1.
It could
One
be a
for
50-50,
five.
it could be a 25%, it could be, we don't know.
The grant says the majority of the cost of the project must be financed by sources available to the municipality outside this grant. So, that's the.
So
the match.
I guess
So
when
the
my big,
majority would be, even if they gave us 5,
Oh.
the majority of the money's gonna be put in by the town or the other grant.
And so we're comfortable applying for this grant. You know, I guess that was one of my big questions was we're doing this under the premise of an addition.
We don't have a choice at this point.
Well, that's, I guess that's kind of what I wanted to
Right.
confirm, really,
Right.
and just, you know, nobody had to look into a crystal ball if that changes, but that's safe and that's not gonna hurt our chances of getting it.
No, I don't know what'll happen if you change and you decide to build a whole new facility. Then we would have to amend the grant and see. And actually, we can check on that.
Yeah, I'm not concerned. What they want to do is they want to invest in public safety infrastructure tied to police, fire, and emergency services. There's no preference in the grant about new build, addition, anything like that. I think the important pieces of this grant is because it's the state's recovery money, it has to be obligated by the end of 2024, then it has to be spent by the end of 2026. So now that we're getting into 2024, I think there's going to be a big push to get these funds out. And so I think that putting in for the $5 million is a good option. And if we get it, I think we'll work towards whatever solution is going to work best for the town.
And it's not just one or five. It could be any
So, yeah.
derivation of that. Could be, they could say two. So, or they could say none, so.
The federal grant's still in play too, from the FEMA grant. But I think our award will come based on the decision that we make in the rendering of plans for the addition over there. So once that gets in place, I think we'll see that. And I don't think they hinge on each other, so they could be piggyback on each other. So that could be a consecutive funding.
One's federal, one's technically coming from the state, but they're using their federal money.
And then the cops grant's the same thing, right? 500,000, 480. So
Okay.
a lot of money in play.
Yeah.
So we need your authority just to apply for it.
Yeah, you wanna make a motion?
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you, Will. I'll make a motion to authorize the municipal public safety infrastructure grant application submission for, do we need an amount or just permission to go ahead and apply?
I'd say the 5 million.
Up to five.
The 5 million.
For up to $5 million by the town planner.
Second. In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Boards and commissions, discussion and interaction, Conservation Commission, one alternative term to expire 1/31/2025. The chair has recommended the current alternate, Bruce Payton, be reappointed as alternate. Can I get a motion?
Make a motion to reappoint Bruce Payton to the position of alternate on the Conservation Commission for the term to expire 1/31/25.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
4-1. All right, Land Trust, one member at large, conservation term to expire 1/31/2025. Conservation Commission has voted to request Roy Najecki, current member at the large Land Trust, to be reappointed. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to reappoint Roy Najecki to the Land Trust as member at large from the Conservation Commission for a term to expire 1/31/2025.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
One member at large, Planning Board, term to expire 1/31/2025. The chair has indicated that the appointment would be voted on as early as February and is asking for this item to be tabled. Can I get a motion?
Motion to table the appointment to the Land Trust member at large from the Planning Board to the February 15, 2024 Town Council meeting. The current member shall serve until appointment is made.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
F, citizen potential donation, trolley discussion interaction, council's contact about potential donation. The person that this is about is still in Florida, asked me to table it, so.
I'll make a motion to table agenda item letter F till the February 1st meeting.
Take a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
G, citizen recommendation, dry fire hydrants in the area near water throughout the town, discussion interaction. Council's contacted about the idea of dry fire hydrants being placed in Chepachet Village. Again, I would ask for this to be tabled as the person.
I'll make a motion to table item G to the February 1st, 2024
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Union correspondence request to begin successor agreements between Town of Gloucester and Gloucester DPW, NAGE, Local 798, discussion interaction. This is a appoint a negotiation team. Council received correspondence from NAGE stating their intentions to begin negotiations for their next successor agreement. At this time, council can appoint their negotiating team, and that team can contact the union steward to set up the meeting time. So, Steve, I would imagine one of these is you. You're the liaison.
Yep.
Guilty
Yeah,
by association. All
I
right.
will raise my hand, if the council will have me on this team, I'd be happy to be part of the bargaining unit.
John?
Yeah, I'll help out with it.
Yeah. Walt, you good with John? And
Yep.
all right, easy. All right, can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to appoint Steve Arnold and John Burlingame as the town council negotiating team to work with the Gloucester DPW, also known as NAGE Union, on a successor agreement for July 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2027.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Motion passes. I, 2014-2015 budget schedule, discussion interaction regarding setting of dates. The clerk has been working with the interim finance director on the remaining dates to be set for the 2024 financial town referendum. First, Councilor Arnold will address a possible workshop with the budget board.
As the budget board has begun to meet and meet with department heads and others, thinking it might be a good idea to have some sort of workshop with the budget board and do it early on in the process. So the budget board has some direction on what the council may be thinking, they have 2 meetings next week. I was hoping that 6:30 next Wednesday night would work for anyone who would want to attend that workshop. But I think it would be mutually beneficial and maybe make it a more efficient process. Again, 6:30 next Wednesday, which would be the
24th.
January 24th. Anybody?
I'd be in favor of just having a chat with them to let them know, where the council's at, if there's anything the council should be letting them know, hey, is a special project that we should be looking at, should we be making sure we're not using fund balance to fund operations, things like that, just those types of things.
General
Just
parameters
general
and
parameters.
direction,
Yep.
not specifics, but general parameters and direction. I'll tell you, it's a committed budget board
Yep.
and again, we're already into the process and it's a talented budget board and why do work twice sort of deal. So I think we owe it to them just as much as I think it's a win-win. So that's my suggestion.
I like it.
And if everyone's okay with that, we can make a motion
Yeah.
to, do we need a motion or just simply,
If the council is going to appear in mass, then I would say probably a joint meeting, because, the council, the majority of the council planning on going, I guess that's the question.
I don't know, I will be there either way,
I will.
with or without
I will.
workshop, so.
If at least 3 are there, then.
Yeah.
I think it should be I think it probably should be, even though it's just a workshop, I mean, you can always amend it. There's lots of ways to do it, but if it's not too much trouble, to announce it as a joint workshop,
Okay. Between the budget board and the town council.
that's my thought. I think the public should know you're in attendance.
That's
somehow,
great,
in
okay,
advance of that meeting, that you're gonna be there.
okay. I will, I'll make a motion to have a joint workshop at 6:30 on Wednesday, January 4th, between the town, 24th, sorry, between the town council and the budget board.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. J, Gloucester Board of Canvassers.
Yes,
No. No, that's not a motion we need to do here.
We set the date for the referendum, but we were gonna wait on the public hearing, and I've had time to work with the interim finance director, and she felt the date that we came up with, we did discuss it that night, we just didn't vote on it, but she felt she had time using that date, so we thought it would be helpful to the public if we set the public hearing date now.
For April 22nd?
Mm-hmm.
All right, can I get a motion?
Make a motion to set April 22nd, 2024 at 7 PM at the town council public hearing for hearing on the budget for fiscal year 2024 to 2025.
A second?
I'll second, and I just had a question too. So, that date, that'll give us time if that public hearing runs over, we have to have another one before, that'll give us time to have
Yeah,
another one.
that's why, I believe that's a Monday, so what we did with the window we have, we made that a Monday in case there's a problem and we have to go to Thursday.
Yeah.
I still have time to post the next day.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great.
We're getting all in favor, right?
Aye.
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 J, Gloucester Board of Canvassers, discussion and action, nomination and vote on temporary appointment of alternate BOC member. The town clerk has been working with the Gloucester Board of Canvassers to obtain a quorum of the board for mandatory meeting to certify signatures on presidential candidate nominations papers for the PPP. Few members had to be absent from the deadline meeting, leaving a shortage of members for a quorum. Per Rhode Island law, there's a process in place to appoint an alternative member for a specific meeting. The clerk has followed the procedure and therefore has obtained a list of 5 registered votes from the Republican Town Committee Chair of potential registered voters to fill the position for this meeting. The process is such that the Town Council President must nominate one of the 5, and the council will vote on nominations until an alternative is chosen. I have chosen Roy Najecki, who's been very involved with the process here in Gloucester. So if I can get a motion.
I'll make a motion to nominate Roy Najecki to serve as an alternate member of the Gloucester Board of Canvassers for a meeting of the board to be held on January 22nd, 2024.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Thank you. Adoption of memorandum of agreement, discussion and interaction between Town of Gloucester on behalf of Gloucester Schools and Laborers International Local 1322. The acting Human Resources Director has prepared a memorandum of agreement between the Town of Gloucester and the Laborers International Local 1322 Clerks Union. The memorandum is a result of the addition of clerk duties for Gloucester Schools to an existing clerk union position, the DPW administrative aide. Council needs to ratify the agreement with Council President's signature and then agree. The agreement will be presented to the union's business manager for signature. When signed by all, that date will be effective date of contract. Can I get a motion?
Just before we make motions, they've already agreed to this, correct? The union's already voted.
The
said
votes,
yes?
the votes are in, and, yeah.
Okay.
That's correct.
I'll make a motion to authorize the town council president to sign the memorandum of agreement between the Laborers International Union of North America, Local 1322, the union, and the town of Gloucester, effective upon signature of both parties. Once effective, terms of memorandum shall be retroactive back to July 1, 2023.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. 2, between the Town of Gloucester on behalf of Gloucester Schools and National Association of Government Employees, which is NAGE. The acting Human Resources Director has prepared a memorandum of agreement between the Town of Gloucester and the National Association of Government Employees, NAGE. The memorandum is a result of certain maintenance and supervisory services for the Gloucester Schools Department being assigned to the building and ground supervisor position in the NAGE bargaining unit. Council needs to ratify the agreement with Council President's signature, and then the agreement will be present for the unions for signature. Then, when signed by all, that date will be effective date of contract. Can I get a motion?
Make a motion to authorize the town council president to sign the memorandum of agreement between the town of Gloucester and the National Association of Government Employees, NAGE, effective upon signature of both parties. Once effective, terms of memorandum shall be retroactive back to July 1, 2023.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Town Council correspondence discussion. Council received Conservation Commission's plan for Earth Day celebrated for April 2024. Correspondence from resident with concerns about Beach Road and Lee's Lane. Council received resolution passed by the Chariho Regional School District Committee in support of full funding of categorical transportation aid as outlined in RIGL. And Councilor Greathouse, you had another person for correspondence?
Yes, I received correspondence from Mrs. Ted Sorrell at, she lives on Joe Sweet Road. She has two concerns. Mr. President, I don't know if you would like for her to come up and express those now or wait till open forum.
We can wait for open forum because I think we might have some more information for her to listen to in the next thing coming down, so.
Her concerns, Mr. and Mrs. Tanserell's concerns were two. Their road is constantly icy during these cold winter months. They live on a hill. I went there on Tuesday evening and met with both Mr. and Mrs. Tanserell. And I observed as I went to the top of the hill that there is a land trust parking lot. And I observed and took pictures and video of a pool of water standing with snow and ice that was melting. And that water was running downhill at a rapid pace. There were actual ripples in the water that was flowing down the road. It becomes a problem. This was a minor water movement because there was snow and ice melting, but in a heavy rain, that road is generally covered with water, and if the temperature drops, it freezes, which is a concern for many of the local residents on this road, especially many of whom have to leave early for work. And DPW has done a great job at trying to address this issue, but if it's early in the morning, that road is very icy and transportation is very challenging. The other situation that is a big concern for this family is that, and I observed it myself and took videos, water has been diverted from one private person's property via a pipe. It appears that the road was disrupted and a pipe was placed underground or under the road, diverting water from one person's property to their property. It now has escalated to the point that their property is being flooded and it is eroding as the water comes out of the pipe, which is placed under the road. It has created a massive ditch in their front land, in their front yard. It is about 2 feet deep, and when there is excessive rain or ice and snow melt, a great deal of water comes from the property across the street via the pipe under the street into their property, which is, they have photographs and videos for you, as well as I have some. It is flooding their property. It is now, as that water passes through their front yard, it passes over their driveway and goes down into another portion of their land, which is a second driveway bringing them to a garage. The water from the pipe also goes under their driveway, and that excessive water comes out a short pipe on the opposite side of the driveway. And so both the water coming from the top, because as that excessive water comes out, the water level rises and goes over the bank and goes across their yard and goes down the hill. And there's a pipe that's dumping water on the opposite side of their driveway, which is eroding that driveway and their land and eroding the land that their garage is sitting on. So I don't know when that pipe was installed. I don't know why that pipe was installed, why water would be redirected from private property onto someone else's private property. So I would really like to get that information, and I would like to have this issue placed on the next agenda and hopefully get some answers and some solutions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, which would roll us right into department heads. Gary, if you want to come up here and I asked you to give us a little idea of the history on this and what could possibly be done.
Okay, when Moonraker Farm was developed, originally that water used to come down and go into the front field. That's many years ago. So that pipe's been there, I've been here 17 years, that pipe was always there, going across the street. There's probably no houses there at that time. That was developed in the 80s, 90s. Blocking that water off, and they took that pipe, sent it across the street onto that property. That, in fact, she's right, it goes a short distance in a trench and goes under the driveway. The land at the top, where the water's coming out of, it always came out of there, even before the land trust made a parking lot up there. My predecessor tried to put a basin in up where that water collects to send it the other way. Elevations don't work. The top of that basin is higher than the outlet that we can get on the other side going up the road. Plus there's ledge at 2 feet. So that way will not work. You can't get the water to go that way. So the only way for the water to go is down the hill. When the water leaves their yard, it goes down to the next house to a pool, it's natural pool that's in the front yard, runs out of that, goes down the side, left side of their house, goes through the woods, comes out in the third house's yard, which washed his driveway out in this last big rainstorm. The only way to get rid of that water is to pipe it down the street, 1,400 feet from where the land trust parking lot is, down to the bottom across the street from the third house down, dump it in the swamp over there. Because I don't believe that anybody on the other side of the street is going to want me to dump any water in their yard. So, in order to do that, you have to put catch basins on both sides of the street, catch the water on both sides. Like one side across to the other, run a main line down side of the street, going up the street would be the right side. You have to repave the street, new berm, pipe. Problem is, with all of that, that's about $130,000 to buy all the materials, DPW installing it. Problem is, I don't know how much ledge is in the street. That place is rough up there. So to get any kind of production out, the way to do it would be to line drill the road, blasting company, line drill it. Find all the ledge. As you find the ledge, blow it up under the ground. Don't even take the overburden off, drill right through it, get it all blown up, so when you go there to dig and lay pipe, you can dig and lay pipe. You don't want to dig 20 feet, hit a piece of ledge that comes up, goes back down, and wait for the blasting company to come. That is not going to work. The place will be ripped up forever. So I've got to call in the main drill and a blasting to get a rough idea what something like that would cost to do 1,400 feet, 4 feet wide, 5 feet deep. Because you're gonna have to dig down at least 3 to get the pipe under the ground, to get some cover on it. And usually if you drill 3, you'll end up with 2 good feet of blast, because you lose something on the bottom. So if you go 5, you're gonna make sure that you can dig. So once I get that number, that'll be added to the 130, and that'll be a rough idea of what it's gonna cost to fix that problem. Try to get out there as best we can. I've had guys coming in early to get up there, try to scrape it. You can't go up there with the loader and scrape the ice because you'll rip the road up. The road is not that great. So we try to sand it, salt it, try to get it to break up, try to plow it off, salt it again. We've got multiple areas around town. We've got one on Chestnut Hill, a lot of them down in the Waterman Lake area. People pumping. You know, you're not supposed to pump in the street, but they've been pumping there forever. don't tell them to shut their sump pump off. So we try to deal with all of those also, keep those streets passable, but you know how it is when it's 10 degrees out and somebody's sending water out there all night. Could be there at 4 o'clock, by 7 o'clock in the morning, it's ice. So, you know, it's what it is.
Great.
Best I can do for you.
Thank you very much.
Do we have it in the budget to do that?
Depends on what you wanna do. You wanna pave roads, you wanna put a pipe in, you're gonna have to pick and choose. I mean, that's gonna be $230,000, $240,000. I can't believe that blasting is gonna be cheap going 1,400 feet. Even if they don't have to blast every spot, they still gonna have to drill and check to make sure there's no ledge. It's what it is.
I think giving him the time to get some numbers, possibly by next meeting, you think?
Oh, yeah, I gotta contact Main Drill and Boston tomorrow. I just got the contact from someone else and,
If we put on the next agenda, we'll at least have numbers to figure out, you know, a way, and then,
Well, it will be, you know, be part of the budget decision,
yeah.
which is not gonna be made which won't be made next week, but be
Right.
nice to have a concrete number.
Yeah.
I know right now there's a list of,
a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
there's, you know.
Is Jerry still in here? Does this, would any money from that whole FEMA with water like this have any application?
It's possible. I gave them, they're gonna send me their information.
Perfect. Like I said, takes a village.
Excuse me, and addressing the second problem that they have with the pipe under the road that's dumping all the water from one,
Been there forever. It's probably there before the house was built.
So it wasn't affecting the property, like, the past few years, it's gotten much worse.
Correct, because we're getting a lot more rain.
Right, so
Hmm.
at what point, like, if my driveway collapses or if my garage collapses because all of the erosion, what happens?
Pipe was there, you know, pipes have been existing, they've been there before houses have been built,
Hmm.
and you can't change them.
so do we know when that pipe was placed there?
I'm gonna say probably around when Moonraker Farm was developed.
Probably back in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, it was Mike Zucchini.
Can you plug that
No.
pipe?
Can't.
Can't plug it.
Matter of fact.
So you can deal with the guy across the street,
Right.
because his yard's flooded and you washed his driveway out. As
Gotcha.
you plug the pipe,
Yep.
that was been in there since.
What about putting some concrete in to kind of stop the erosion?
Concrete where?
No. Is it possible to, I know it would be expensive, but seemed more logical to, rather than put a pipe under the road to redirect water from one private property to another private property, that the water wasn't redirected on the same side of the street and redirected down into the woods, rather than,
Whose woods you gonna put it in?
well, the woods that are right there, like right on the opposite side of the driveway.
So I dump it on the next person's property?
Well, there doesn't seem to be a house for a long distance from,
There's 3 houses on that side of the road. You are not gonna dump it in somebody else's property. You're opening up a can of worms. You dump it in there, you do something to their property, you're gonna own that one too.
I think that their property is being massively
I
eroded.
totally understand that, but I can't take water that wasn't going there and add it to somebody's yard.
Okay, well, I think
Not
we have to
happening.
try to come up with some kind of a
I
solution.
just came up with the solution.
Well, to
But
help
I
their
understand that,
property.
but it's not gonna happen right now, unfortunately. It's the middle of winter.
Well, I think it would be a good idea if you took a ride up there.
I've been up there
And-
multiple times. I've been up there when it's been happening. I was up there today. I've shot elevations up there on multiple occasions trying to make this
I
thing
understand
work.
that, Gary, thank you. I just mean to look at their property.
I've looked at it. I've been in their yard. I've done work over there.
So like recently after this war.
Recent, just,
I will say the director and I were there, I believe, this spring in your yard to try and address some concerns, and I think we successfully did get something accomplished.
Something got accomplished, it just made it way worse.
Well, you guys asked us to unclog the pipe, and that's essentially, that's exactly what we did. So we've been there, we've seen it in action. I mean, we've seen pictures I mean,
So Gary, if you put the new,
My concern is still that the water's gonna wash all the rock underneath my driveway where that pipe is, and my driveway's gonna crack. That's my biggest concern.
I
That hasn't been-
totally understand.
So let's,
hang on, so Gary, the solution you said about, you know, the 1,400 feet, will that take the water coming from Moonraker and take it down, or no? So that, when that solution happens, it'll prevent that,
There'll be
correct?
no water going in their yard when
Yeah,
that,
so-
when
so-
that pipe goes down the hill.
He's just saying it can't be done right now, but if we
If
get
you
it,
decide to do that project, all the water from that street will go to the bottom. It'll be caught in 13 catch basins. We'll pick up the water that's coming out of that pipe out of Moonraker, tie it into a catch basin along with the pipe coming down from the top, and send it all the way to the bottom of the hill.
so you have a solution, we just gotta,
I got a solution,
we just
yeah,
have to fund the
it's just-
solution.
It costs money,
That-
and it's
that's what
gonna
it-
take time.
Yep.
And it's not gonna happen right now, and I understand their problem, but when it rains 4 inches, that 12-inch pipe is not gonna handle 4 inches of rain.
Okay.
It's simple as that.
so regroup in 2 weeks.
I've got roads that had 3 24s going across and it's still topped over the road.
Yeah. We have unprecedented water right now.
So I understand their problem, but
Yeah.
I can't put water on people's properties.
Nope, I understood.
And it's kind of what it is.
Yeah, no, we get it. So we'll wait till the next meeting. You'll have some
I'll have
numbers.
the
You guys will
blasting
come
number,
back,
I'll have a
get
number
up
for
here
you.
and chat, and we'll go from there.
Thanks.
All right, thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Gary.
Any of the department heads here today? A long way?
He's going a long way. Extra stuff.
Speaking of flooding, so as you know, the September storm was declared a federal disaster. So there is money for Providence County, which we are in. FEMA has set up offices in Rhode Island this week. I'm actually meeting with them tomorrow morning. They plan on starting to come out to Glocester and visit with the residents that have had damage done from that storm, but they also want to talk to people who had damage from the December storm. The December storm has not been declared a federal disaster yet, although the state has put in for it, and they're trying to get through the threshold of the amount. They're very close. So FEMA wants to take all this information from both storms, from as many people as possible. That's why I kind of bugged you guys with the emails, and then some of the department heads. But if you know of areas like this that were affected by this flooding of those 2 storms, right, FEMA's not gonna go back in time, but from those 2 storms, I need to know where they are. I don't need specifically to know who they are, because FEMA's actually willing to go and knock on doors, door to door on the street. If you say, this street flooded, some of these houses got damaged, we're not sure which ones, because the people haven't come forth. They'll go and knock. They'll help them make the application for the federal assistance, which I should stress will not cover things that are covered by insurance. They're not going to give people money for something that's covered by their homeowner's insurance. It's things that aren't covered. So I am going to put out some notices. I'm waiting to meet with them tomorrow because they're going to give me some phone numbers and things like that. We're going to put out a code red. We're going to put it on the website, on social media. And then I asked them if, once they meet with everybody, if they'll take one day or for a 4-hour slot or whatever, and I'll put it out on Code Red indicating that anyone who hasn't met with the FEMA representatives and wishes to meet with the FEMA representatives, they will be, let's say, at the town hall from 9 o'clock in the morning to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, whatever, to take your questions, get your information, help you with an application if you need to get federal funds to assist you with any damage you had from the tornadoes or the floods. So, and I did speak to the folks back there, and they're going to send me some of those things. I'm going to give it to the FEMA people. So they'll probably go and speak to them. I don't know if they'll be covered or not, but it's worth letting them talk to them.
Perfect.
So if you know of anybody, please just shoot me an email, or give me a call or whatever, and I can point them in that direction. Otherwise, we're just gonna blast it out there to the town residents, and then whoever comes forward, comes forward.
Did you get any response from the last Code Red that we did, sort of saying there was relief, financial relief available?
Yes,
You did?
yeah, I
Okay.
got about 6 or 7 people.
Oh, that's,
Right,
okay.
and those are some of the addresses that I'm gonna give to the FEMA people tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jerry.
Any other department heads? All right, boards and commissions. All right, open forum. Anybody have anything they'd like to discuss on any other subject? If so, please state your name when you come to the microphone.
Bill Brown.
Welcome back.
Yep. Bill Brown, Chairman of the Glocester Historical Cemetery Committee. Good evening to all. I gotta say to start off that it's quite a coincidence that the Deputy Secretary's here the same night that I am asking the town to participate in the celebration of what comes down to the Revolutionary War. And I was just sitting there thinking, boy, as far as Gloucester, contributing anything to that, I'd have to say that my committee, and myself, have added quite a bit in that regards, because we were, as we were cleaning these historic cemeteries, we located 71 Revolutionary War veterans that nobody knew about. And with that information, I hooked up with the Vets Administration, compared information with the money that the town gave me for the grave markers. These Revolutionary War veterans now get flagged every year by me personally. And I just think that's quite a contribution from one community. I know we said there was 39, which there is, but I think that being done as far as the veterans go, and celebrating that 250-year anniversary, I think that's a good thing for Gloucester. That being said, I'm here also in regards to my proposal that I made at the beginning of the year. I have been out literally knocking on doors, talking to taxpayers of Gloucester. I've been explaining to them what my proposal was in brief, and they are all completely in favor of something needing to be put in place to take over after we're done as volunteers. The only thing that they're asking is they want more information. They want to know more about how this is going to affect them as far as taxpayers, as far as the budget itself, and they want to know about what it contains, what will this new committee, if there was one to be, will be doing, and how will this money be spent. And so I'm here. They asked me to come here tonight. They asked me to come here and ask you folks if you would do that for them, if you would sit down with me and put a narrative together and send it out and get it out to them so they can read it, digest it, and have the option to vote on it for the 25-26 fiscal budget. I mean, these are the people that are going to pay for it. They're proud of what we've done. They're excited. They didn't know, what cleaning cemeteries, historic cemeteries, does. And it's just opened them up to. They love the history that's in them, and with the Rev vets and everything, and the Civil War vets and all of that, they're all excited about being able to take their kids to these cemeteries now that they're clean, because these kids, a lot of kids, some generations today don't even know what a Revolutionary War or a Civil War veteran are. They could look at the marker that the flag's in and wouldn't even know what it stands for. So it's an in-person way to educate people about not only the veterans, but the veterans in Gloucester. I mean, we contributed a lot, you know, to that Revolutionary War. And a lot of them were my own family members, great-grandfathers, great-great-grandfathers. And so I'm here to ask if you'll do that. Will you do that for the taxpayers? Will you sit down with me and put something together so they can read and learn about its purpose, what it will do, why it needs to be put in place, and how they will benefit from it. And like I said, they're throwing things out to me. You know, I got a few things written down here that they're telling me. You know, they're telling me that they appreciate the respect that we've been able to give these folks now that we've addressed the problem of overgrowth, and that we've put this schedule, this 39-week schedule of annual care in place every year, and keeping them clean. And as Gloucester residents, they're saying that they're proud to be a Gloucester resident and to be behind something like this. So they're on board. They're not saying no. They just want to know more. And they said that they believe that they have the right to vote on this and not watch it get swept under the rug. So I'm asking you tonight if that is something that
This
you will
sounds
do.
like it would probably be like if we really get you in front of the budget to kind of give you an idea of what is it, around 280,000?
Yep.
To figure out what that would be broken up to amongst the taxpayers. This is probably going to be a referendum question.
$54
a person
per taxpayer.
per taxpayer. Right.
Well, I mean, on average,
Right.
Right.
you know, that's, so,
Well, I was given a number of roughly 5,500 taxpayers.
sure. But that doesn't mean it's split up evenly.
No, I understand that.
Yeah, so,
I understand that. We're just throwing, you know, numbers around here, but when I had, like I said before, when I had met with Adam, right off the bat, he told me, okay, however many employees you're gonna need, figure $70,000 a year with benefits and everything included. So that's where the 280 comes from. Because I'm figuring 4 to start with. But I think that 3 is definitely a possibility too. And I also consider, you know, 3 months out of the year would be like now, winter time. You know, so they could either be laid off or they could be working in the garage with Gary's guys. You know, behind the wheel of a truck, plowing something. But there's got to be somebody in place doing what I'm doing right now at home, emailing everybody, the politicians, all, you know, keeping the wheel going. It takes a lot. It's not just throw the tools in the truck and go clean a cemetery. There's a lot of planning. You know, like I said before, it's broken up. You've got companies involved like FM Global that are doing their share. And it's a lot more. Much more important than most people think it is. So, if I could get something tonight to tell them, am I gonna sit down with the finance director, the town planner, who, are we gonna do this down the road?
well, I
Did you
don't,
give a presentation to the budget board yet?
For this proposal?
I think that's next Wednesday night, isn't it? Aren't you on next Wednesday's docket,
Yeah,
Bill?
but that's just for the 4 large cemeteries in Gloucester. That has nothing to do.
Well, that would have to be for everything.
Pardon me?
That's everything. No, the budget board, if you wanna create a department that's
Right, but I'm
a
not
town
gonna,
entity for $280,000.
right,
You gotta tell them everything. You can't just say, well, just for 4 cemeteries.
I
And by the
understand.
way,
I understand that, but why would I go that route with them now when we haven't even sat down and talked about it?
because
yet?
They have to recommend to us.
Right.
They make a recommendation based on cost.
Okay, so you're telling me that the first stop would be to sit down with,
We've said that, yeah. You
Yeah.
gotta start with the budget board
okay,
and make your proposal to them.
okay. That's all I needed to do.
Yeah, and again, you know, when you were here a few months ago, that was sort of the state, you know, that's the first stop, if so to speak.
Okay,
You know, and I don't know there's precedent for, like you said, it sounds like it could be a separate question, but I
I
don't know
do,
if there's
right.
precedent
No,
for,
that would be part of the budget.
so
That's
it's
funded.
just, it's
That'd be
either,
something to be funded every year. I
sure,
think that's-
so it's
You would go
either
to the
voted
budget.
in the big package,
So you understand where I didn't wanna confuse the two, because every year I go before the budget board and I ask for the same amount of money for these 4 large cemeteries.
I
That's
do,
all
but
that's
this
all
would
that I
be,
asked for.
But now you
This would be
want
an
more, so you
annual
have to go to them and
expenditure.
and say, hey, I need this.
Right.
And they would say, we have it in the budget, we make a recommendation, or we don't, or they come to us and say, what do you wanna cut, so we can add this in, or something to that effect.
Okay, but as far as the taxpayers go, them wanting to receive something that actually explains to them what this committee is gonna do, what these employees are gonna do. That's what they wanna see.
We don't know it, you're the one that is setting this up, so.
That's right, that's what.
You know, so you know what they're gonna do,
Would
the
you be
plan.
the one to create and answer their questions?
Absolutely, I can answer all their questions.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I just wanna sit down with somebody, a group of people, put something together so these taxpayers can read it and take it in, you know? I understand, I've gotta go to the budget board about the money, you know? I understand that.
so
But
I
they,
guess.
but they want to see something from the town showing that you've heard my proposal, we're working together, this is what it consists of, basically. Read it, sit on it for a year, you know? That's it. But I'll go to the budget board, you know, I'll sit down, well, he quit the other day, so I've gotta wait till the next one comes in, I guess, huh?
What's that?
Finance director.
We have a finance director right now, interim, but we have a finance director.
Okay, so I can move forward with this. I can go to this budget board.
Start with the budget board with what your request is, you know, and for us to put something together, it would be, we're way jumping the gun right here to give the town a narrative of, sure, we're gonna hire 4 guys and they're gonna be in the DPW and they're gonna be in the union, and these are their other I mean, where, that's,
Who's, why,
there's,
who says that they gotta be part of the DPW, part of the union? Is
The town board.
every organization in town under the union? Oh, I didn't know that. It is?
everybody, well,
I thought it was just the
Clerks and
DPW.
employees.
Okay,
yeah, so there's a lot to unpack.
Oh, I
And
know
by
that.
the way, I don't wanna speak for anyone else, but you know, certainly very noble efforts and your work is appreciated amongst everybody in this town,
I already know that.
so. But yeah, the budget board's the first stop.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else? Open forum.
I have something as a taxpayer, I guess. I missed what the estimate of the cost of this new department would be.
280.
280. Okay, so I sort of agree with Councilor Worthy that I think it should be a separate question, because if there are people in this town that don't want to create a new department, and I believe 280 is low, because every department I've ever seen goes up every year. But if there are people in this town who are not interested, not that it's not a noble cause, and I'm not saying I'm not interested, we could be throwing out a whole budget if we take this as a line item and stick it in our budget. People don't read the budget beforehand. I've seen budgets, I've never seen a budget suddenly have a line item of $280,000, and you could be jeopardizing our whole budget. That vote could be for nothing. So I ask you to think about how you present that to the public.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. All right. We're gonna move to executive session. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to convene to executive session pursuant to RAGO 42-46-5A2, potential litigation.
Second?
All in favor?
No.
Oh, roll call, please.
Always gets.
Roll call, please.
Councilor Greathouse?
Aye.
Councilor Worthy?
Aye.
Councilor Arnold?
Aye.
Councilor Burlingame? Councilor Steer?
Aye.
I'll make a motion to reconvene open session. I'll disclose that no votes were taken in executive session and to seal the minutes of closed executive session.
Okay, a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
And the
I'll
final
make a
motion,
motion to adjourn.
take a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Who made the motion?
Aye.
Walt.
Who
Aye.
seconded?
Stephen?
Thank you.
Great job, everybody.
Yeah, that was
I have-
meeting.
9:30. I'll tell you something. I feel much better.